In 2012, my life drastically changed as I sustained a spinal cord injury. I was a single mom of a beautiful 16-month-old boy. On my first day back, after 5 months in rehab, I was watching my son play in the yard, in a space that was clearly inhospitable to my new wheels. As I physically could not be there for him, I asked my dad to stand behind my son as he climbed up those 3 little steps to our toy slide. As we had not yet figured out how the co-parenting would work, my dad brushed off my concern. I, on the other hand, kept my eyes on my son, hoping that I could ensure his safety with my gaze alone. Of course, what I feared would happen, happened. Thomas missed the last step, and all I could do was sit there in my wheelchair, just a few feet away, literally paralyzed, as I watched my son slowly fall backwards. As I yelled, "Dad, I told you this would happen," it triggered a strong response. My dad stood up as fast as light, jumped forward to hold Thomas up with one hand as he landed awkwardly onto the grass. When I asked him to surrogate for me, I truly was asking my dad to have my back, needing him to be there for me and my son like his grandfather was for him. To understand what I mean by that, we need to go back in time. The year is 1941 in occupied Paris. As a 5-month-old baby, my dad was sent to Normandy to be raised by his grandparents. He arrived in a family who was raising their 10-year-old daughter while mourning the loss of their own adult son, a casualty of war. My dad needed love, and they all needed the hopes and joy of a little man. It was a good combination. My dad felt very much love in this remodeled family, and he loved to share his memories of his grandfather in particular, or his Petits, Pères, as he affectionately called him. Each memory demonstrating how his Petits Pères had always been there for him. Like the time he found my dad sitting on the edge of one of those famous white chalk cliffs with his feet dangling off. A little boy, unaware of the danger, enjoying the scenery his playground provided him. In this particular story, my dad lovingly recounts how his Petits Pères very carefully had approached him to save him from a fall. When Thomas fell that day, my dad realized what precious gift life was giving him. For the second time in his life, he was going to be part of this magical dyad of grandson and Petits Pères. Except that this time around, he would be the one holding the role of Petits Pères. Him and I, in awe of the synchronicity of life, as I was now sitting on the edge of my own cliff, facing an ocean filled with new challenges. An adult daughter still needing her dad to be there for her. Being a parent is a lifelong commitment. We cherish our children and protect them from harm, hoping that in the process, we teach them to stand on their own. Sometimes they fall, and all we can do is buffer their fall and help them get back up. Like my dad did for my son that day, like him and my mom did for me. Papa and Petits Pères are for me noble titles, reserved for the men on whom we can always count on. When my dad died in 2018, we chose to have him buried there, on the same white cliffs his feet once dangled from, reunited in death with his Petits Pères and grandmother, yet living not only in my heart, but in my son's heart and in so many others. Each of us carrying their legacy of love, loyalty, and kindness.